May I add to that? See, it is an ecosystem that a country has to build. When you look at academia, you look at, because I'm from the IT system, so let's say IT system, because the other universities are not bringing up so much IP. So let's say the IT system. Now these are professors who are teaching, doing research, publishing papers, Bhatnagar Award, this, that, they are into that. If you tell them to do the second step of making a prototype and all that, they are A, not interested, B, sometimes, if I may use the word, not capable. They don't have the capacity, they have the capacity to think. So let them be think tanks. What is CSIR meant for? Scientific and industrial research. Industrial research. I is the biggest thing. What they have done, now they are deemed university, so they are producing PhDs. They should have been the go-between the industry, and that was the original idea of Pandit Nehru, that they would be the go-between between the industry and the academia. You have an idea, you give it to the CSIR, let them make the final product, and then say, look, now I have this chemical or this product or this. So there are CMEs, the Center for Mechanical Engineering, Material Science, Chemicals, Aeronautical, all these things are there. That somebody from the top has to say, "Aap तीनों लोग मिलके काम करो." In India, we had Battelle Labs. I don't know if you have heard of Battelle Labs. One of the very successful private equivalent of CSIR, doing contract research and all that. They opened a thing in an outfit in Pune. So they went after the big projects of the defense and it didn't work out, so they wound up and went. You need somebody like that to actually do the middleman between the industry and the academia. You go to the industry, they want to, if I may use it in Hindi, unko paki pakai kheer chahiye. Recipe de do, kal ko they start making it. It doesn't happen that way. CSIRs are supposed to do, should have been forced to do all the national labs and so on and so forth. There is a space for a startup, maybe Prakash will think about it, for his area. If he says, I am the tinkering lab for all the innovation that come in this space. You bring your idea, I'll develop it to the next level. You will see that success will be double, if not triple. Do you agree with that middle?
Yeah.
So if I can add a bit of what both panelists said here, is that I think the key is research alone is not going to be enough. There has to be that hungriness that goes behind commercialization. You need someone that is very, very, very aggressive in taking that research and the IP to the market and monetize it. Otherwise, the point of patent and IP has no value at all. In our scenario, once we had something very unique, and once we got, I think, 3 of the patents granted at that time, we actually went and started talking to large companies like Symantec, McAfee, especially Symantec, because they had acquired PGP for $350 million. And we went in there and we said, we have it, you don't. Prove it to me otherwise. For a small company to really go in and make that kind of aggressive statement, that can only happen, once you have the patents part of it, but then once you're really, really hungry to get to the next level. So it has to be combined, not just the idea part of it, IP part of it, but someone has to drive it with an aggressiveness.
I'll just take one sentence remark. I went to a leading university in Japan. I won't take the name for obvious reasons. And the president was well known to me, so he wanted to see what value intellectual ventures can add. He says, Mr. San, we are doing very well. We made $4 billion through this technology transfer. I asked a very simple question that how much did you spend in your patenting and all that business? And then there was a hushed silence, and finally it came out, they spent 10 million to make 4 million. Does it make sense?
Right.
I won't talk about sales. Dr. Gardner, you need to clarify. What is the cost, approximate for patenting, and how much you are going to reimburse?
In what sense? To a startup or a young company? What we figured out is, like, because we are in, or besides the electronic space, we are also in the IT space, software space. So the patent cost for us, it depends upon the type of patents. The software patents normally cost much higher. An ambiguity with regard to patentability of software across the geographies. So they have to be drafted differently for different geographies. The examination processes are much more complex. So it's anything in terms of Indian rupees is like if you file in 5 geographies across the world, the patent cost for a software patent might go up anything to the tune of 30 to 50 lakh rupees per patent. And we averaged it around 30 lakhs. So we have our scheme gives 50% of that, and that is 15 lakhs to a maximum of 15 lakhs per patent. So that's a rough estimate. Ravi is sitting at the back. I suppose he will be the better judge how much he will fleece.
Your numbers are right.
Yes, sorry.
So,
What about IP versus
Huh?
IP also there is a cost involved.
In which? What?
IP registration for property, IPR registration also will be having cost factor.
IPR registration, IPR is 7, like patents, trademark, copyright, whatever. Others, trademark cost you something, but copyright is a very small sum, and it's de facto protected also. If you want to register, it's not a big sum.
do we have more questions from audience? All right, we'll open it.
One suggestion for Dr. Garg. Maybe we need some kind of a policy tweak to, sort of allow the more funding to go to the startups. For example, we are setting up an incubator. Now, there are several member companies, MNCs of ours, who are ready to put CSR funding into that. But I think CSR Act, particularly the point number 9 under the schedule, is not very clear that whether that money can go to the incubator and they can benefit from the CSR funding. So I think if we can tweak that something, there can be many more funds available for the startups who are probably hungry to come up with the innovative product and look at filing it.
As far as ICT is concerned, the amount of funds under our scheme itself are enough. I want the inventors to come forward and take advantage of that scheme. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
The point today, Rajiv, is that we do not have enough patents from India. It's not the question that there is not enough money available to support them. It's the number of patents. Let's actually, first of all, there should be enough tech startups, and those tech startups filing IPs. So this money is available right now. It's not like if the system, if we become proactive as many countries in the West, then the money might be a challenge, and CSRs and other things. You have rightfully said that might be the things one has to look at. But right now there is enough money, but not enough patents from India.
I'm having a question here. See, you said that we need 15 lakhs of rupees at least to be contributed from our side to get an international patent. So when I am a startup, the 15 lakhs do I spend to develop my product, or are the 15 lakhs I put it into my patent? Taking your 15 lakhs, which one I should do when I have a money constraints?
So I'll give you our company example. Huh?
Loud enough.
Yeah, we can do that.
So anyway, so if you were to come to Intellectual Ventures, we'll put in the money to do your patenting, and we'll make sure that it's a very well-written patent, so it cannot be infringed upon. All those best services you will get, but we'll take the rights to license. So you save your money. So you have to decide, and we'll let you use for yourself for $1. Now, if they give the money, you see, government gives the money, they should have the rights, no?
We don't have the right. We don't own the.
No, but you should. See, that's one of the problems with the government money. I'll just give another example. For money that you give for startups, venture capital money. This is my personal opinion. If you take it from the government, let's say from DST or TIFAC or whatever, TDB, if it fails, they will write off, okay, very easily. It's forgotten. If you take it from a venture capitalist, a
That's
private.
not my question.
No, let me answer you the question. Answer you. So if you take it from the venture capitalist, they will make sure that you succeed. They will push you like crazy. If you fail, they will come after you. Let me finish. Let me finish. If the government gives the money,
No, please listen my question. Then
wait a minute. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish here 1 second. If they give the money to patent and they write it off, it is something they should not do. That's what I'm saying.
My question.
And let me reply why there is a strategic reasons for we doing it, that we first of all taking right for just for filing a patent and the cost involved in it, and filing and processing a patent, that's my personal opinion. Filing and processing a patent and taking the royalty rights in the invention, in my as a personal term, I'm not talking about the government, is ethically wrong, right? But the government has created this scheme with the purpose that patent is not the only reason for which he will get a venture. Patent is a process through which he can get a venture. So we are facilitating the startup or a young company to fetch investment.
And create jobs.
Create jobs, that is politically correct statement.
I think he answered your question.
No, he didn't answer my question. Suppose
Acha.
I start with from friends' money. I'm a starter.
Hmm.
I've got 25 lakhs of rupees with a very good idea.
Mm.
Now government can give me international patent 15 lakhs of rupees if I put 15 lakhs. So from 25, 15 lakhs I have to reserve for you. I have only 10 lakhs left to take up my.
Let me answer the question. From a startup perspective, I know exactly where you're coming from. Don't file it.
Don't file it.
That's my answer. Because as a startup, when you're struggling to pay salary, when you're struggling to pay expenses, when you're struggling to develop products and develop market, you don't want to be in a position where your cash is trapped on something, right, which you don't know the results for the next 3 to 5 years time period. And you cannot afford to go in and file for patents at the early stages. Like I said before, when a startup is starting at the very early stages, patents and IP means nothing. There is no value to it. You may have a fantastic idea, nobody is going to believe you, nobody is going to put money behind your patent. Once you have a product or a solution, once you take it to the market, once it gets the validation, and along with it, you need to run a parallel track of filing the patents and substantiating the value for the product or solution that you're building. As a startup, somebody can correct me, I believe IBM is the single biggest organization in terms of the number of patents filed per year. And now I believe half of that patents are written in India. IBM can afford to do it. IBM can afford to put 1,000 people on the job just to write patents and give them no other stuff to do. But a startup cannot do it, right? You got to be realistic, and you got to do parallel things at the same time. You got to run your company, and at the right time, you got to start protecting your IP via patents. That would be my approach.
I agree with that. That's good.
The solution of venture capital is not attractive for the startup